Hello, my name is Jessica Goldstrom, and I am the owner and head educator at the Beeswaggle. I'm here to help you learn how to distinguish between the fly, the bee, and the wasp while out in your garden. There's a couple of quick and sure ways to do it. One is looking at their antennae. So flies always have short and stubby antennae, whereas the bees and the wasps have longer antennae. Flies will sometimes have the same color as a wasp, like black and yellow, or they might be hairy, as is the case with bees, but when you look up close and you see those short stubby antennae, you know it's a fly. I have an example here from the bees in your backyard. It's one of my favorite references, and right here is a hoverfly. So it's a dead giveaway that that's a fly because her antennae are short and stubby. Notice that the bee and the wasps all have long antennae. Now, how are we going to distinguish between the bee and the wasp? Well, wasps tend to be less hairy, okay? And their hairs are not purposed for carrying pollen because wasps are omnivores. What does that mean? Well, they consume both plant material in the form of nectar. Yes, they do like to drink nectar from flowers, and they consume meat, which in the form of insects. Okay, and they feed their young insects. So they're an important part of the ecosystem because they keep a lot of those garden pests in check. They keep the populations low because they're consuming those populations. All right, so bees, why are they so hairy? Well, they feed their young pollen and nectar. They're what I call vegan hippies. Why? Because they're only consuming plant material and they're all about flowers. Remember the whole peace, love, and flowers movement? Oh yes, I do. My parents were part of that, so I grew up hearing about it. Anywho, the point is, bees are at flowers to collect pollen and nectar to feed their young. And wasps are at flowers sipping nectar. Flies are at flowers sipping nectar, but neither one of those are collecting pollen for their young. Okay, so there's another interesting thing that I think you'll really love to know is how do you distinguish between the male bee and the female bee? Well, female bees are the primary caregivers to their young. So they are actively collecting pollen to bring back to their nest or their colony. So their bodies tend to have some kind of glob on their back elbows, or they have yellow stuff all over their hind legs or on their bellies. That is pollen, and they're collecting it actively. Now, male bees don't do that. Male bees might hang out on a flower all day, sipping nectar, waiting for the ladies to show up so he can mate. Okay, it's all about passing on the DNA in the case of the male. So I do hope that you learned something new today and you enjoyed what you heard. If you did, could you please share this, comment, and tag some of your friends into this conversation. All right, thank you so much, and thank you for joining the movement.